So Dave, I'm really excited about the spiritual warfare series that we're doing. And just in case people don't know what spiritual warfare is, could you just tell me real quickly, how would you define spiritual warfare? What is spiritual warfare?
Sure. So spiritual warfare is that battle that Christians wage against the world, the flesh, and the devil. Once we were kicked out of Eden after the fall, right, it became difficult, right, that we had to live our life kind of in warfare, and that we have an adversary who's trying to drag us away from the Lord. And so our job as Christians is to cooperate in this warfare that's being fought, kind of raging for our souls around us, for the salvation of mankind.
Would you walk me through just kind of how this course progresses? What are the topics that are covered and what you see as the ultimate goal?
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about the fact that Jesus won the victory, that any victory that we have is going to be His and not ours, not through our own merits or through our natural abilities. It's going to be through His, and that He gives that victory to His church. We're also going to talk about our adversary. We're going to learn a little bit about Satan and the demons and how they try and lead us away from God and what their goals are and how they can try and tempt us. We're going to talk a lot about our allies in the battle, Mary and the saints and angels. In particular, Mary and St. Joseph and St. Michael we'll touch on because they play such a big role in spiritual warfare. We'll talk about different tools that the church gives us in order to engage in this battle, things like sacramentals and different prayer and devotionals that the church gives us that can really help us be effective over evil. And we'll also talk about the questions that everybody wants to know, like, should we be afraid of the devil? What kind of life do we lead if we're a spiritual warrior? What does that look like to be an expert or a soldier in God's army?
Who would you say this course is ideal for?
This course is for every Catholic who is alive, because we are all engaged in spiritual warfare. It's a beginning course in spiritual warfare, and so it's the perfect way to kind of begin looking at this topic and to see what it means, what the topic is, and how to begin engaging in it. And also, it's comprehensive enough that by the end of it, you're going to feel pretty confident that you can at least start to form your life into that life of the warrior that we talk about.
That's great. So Dave, for people who don't know you, tell me a little bit about yourself and why spiritual warfare is such a part of your life, and why it's something that's definitely one of your passions.
Sure. So I have a lot of experience assisting priests around the country in their ministries of spiritual warfare, especially in the more dramatic forms of it. And I've taught thousands of Catholics around the country about the principles of spiritual warfare and of gaining victory over the world of evil. So I'm very comfortable teaching this thing. It's something that I've kind of dedicated a lot of my life to. And I know, the principles that can make people successful, the principles that can make people victorious.
What's the goal of the course? What is someone going to get out of this course?
So my hope would be that through this course, it would be, an exposure to the world of spiritual warfare and the idea of spiritual warfare, that people would understand that it's happening, and that they would gain some kind of proficiency in the ability to engage our enemies and to gain victory, so that they can feel confident that they're not just thrown by the waves of evil, right? That they can fight back, and in fact, that we can gain victory.
Dave, I am so pumped about this series, because I really do think it helps people not only know who the enemy is, but know what victory looks like. And so I'm excited for people not only to just go through the course, but to see the results in their life and really believe that you're someone who lives this. And so I'm excited for other people to have that chance in their life. And so I want to say, if you're thinking about being a part of this course, or jumping into this course, it's so worth it, because it's the ability to really not only process through who God is and who the enemy is, but really look at who am I called to be, and how am I called to fight, how am I called to live. Anything you want to add, Dave?
No, I'll be praying for all of you going through this course, and I hope that through it that you might come closer to the heart of Jesus.